Wednesday, my dude.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. Happy Wednesday. Pat, my friend, how are you and what are you drinking? Most important.
That is all that. Don't ask about my life or personality. Let's just focus on the beer.
Yeah.
This I got. I'm drinking.
Interesting.
This is the flavor of life.
Yeah.
Crooked Lane, which is an Auburn, California beer about an hour from me, where I have a lot of family up in Auburn. SR16, delicious.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to everybody. Yes. We have so much to talk about. Just as a reminder, please to remember to make sure to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell. We really appreciate all of the follows, all of the retweets, all of the comments, and we want to thank you for all of it. It looks like, okay, good. We weren't sure if Mr. Aguilar would get here right on the dot, and of course he's right here. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into our interview with retired Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Aguilar, who is the Green Party candidate for North Carolina District 13, a combat veteran, whistleblower, and father fighting for the people. Welcome back. Hello.
Hi, Patrick. Hi, Leila.
How are you? It's good to see you.
Great to see you, man. We caught the tail end of your space, but just the very end of it.
Yeah, that was a next space hosted by a gentleman, Ian McConnell, State. I guess that's his handle. But great conversation, hard questions, hard discussion, and I appreciated it, and it was good. And I'll say I just got home this morning. Actually, not this morning, just a few hours ago, from Minneapolis. Very interesting experience as an American to witness and see what I saw, which has only strengthened my resolve to want to run and be in Congress to change what's happening in our country.
Well, we love that. Absolutely. And, your resolve and courage to blow the whistle on what was happening at those death traps at the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation really, propelled you very quickly into the spotlight. And the fact that you were taking that and running with it to all of the chaos and horrors that are happening back here is really so beautiful and commendable. So thank you. I would love to hear about what it's like on the ground, because obviously, my politics, I feel one way about it. We hear what the administration is saying. What is it like when you're there? How are the regular people? How are the police force, and how are the ICE and Border Patrol agents?
So the characterization of Americans exercising their First Amendment rights, exercising their rights to be present, to protest, to make their grievances known, that's a lie. The people that when I was there down on Nicolette Street, just right outside of Glam Donuts, where Alex Pretty was killed, there's kind of like a communal shop right next to it there, where any time people can go in and have coffee. They had hand warmers for people, and people were hanging out, and it was a sense of community. And the protest, I participated in a protest last night downtown called the Bye Bye Bovino protest. A lot of people, very energetic, but not one bit of violence or violent rhetoric or violent action.
Right.
Calls to action to get ICE out of Minneapolis, but it was peaceful. When I went to Nicolette Street, where the vigil is, everyone that was there that I saw at the time that I was there was peaceful, singing songs, lighting candles, laying down different pictures. People wrote poems. What was really touching was that one of Alex Preddy's patients at the VA placed a shirt that he wrote on there because it was the shirt he wore when he would do his physical therapy with Alex. And it's coincidence that I think today on somewhere in the news that picture was posted. I don't know if that's the same guy,
Right.
but you see the man that Alex was, and to be there at that vigil where it happened on an American street, right there.
Right.
And the veteran that the first filming came out of, the guy that was standing in Glam Donuts that first saw it when we saw
Right.
that first bit of footage, he was there and he spoke to us and kind of how he felt as a veteran watching what he watched. And it was all very moving. And I didn't see domestic terrorists. I didn't see violent mobs or criminal illegal immigrants. I saw Americans coming together in fear to stand up for their constitutional rights. All of the first night I was there, the protests that occurred around the hotel that ICE is staying in. So as we know, there are hotels in some cities that will not allow ICE to stay.
Right.
So they're consolidated. So at the Homewood Suites in Maplewood that they were staying in, there was a demonstration outside of that. And I'll tell you what of all the things that have shocked me, frightened me, and sickened me, is we're out there and the folks are chanting, beating on the pots and pans. There wasn't any violence. People were chanting and being obnoxious on purpose.
Right.
And the ICE agents that were up on the third floor window in the hallway, because like in a hotel, you have the long hallway at the end of
Yes.
it will be a giant window. And they're standing at that window, flicking everybody off,
I saw that. Just like
pulling their
the
pants down
commander in chief.
and mooning everybody
Yeah.
and holding up alcohol and cheersing. They're on duty. And these are the agents that we have that are supposed to be in our streets and
Yeah.
upholding law. And that's how they treat us. And so that protest, it didn't get violent, but the state police, the Minneapolis State Police came
Right.
in and established a cordon. And this is my belief, seeing the dynamic of what happened. They arrested everybody that was inside that was too close to the perimeter. Myself and Greg Stoker and a few others were standing further back, but Josie Gilbo, as many of you
Right.
know, got
I
roped
saw
up on the inner ring,
Yeah.
and she got put on the bus and arrested. But they didn't charge any of them. They took them off. They went in, and they in the state of Minneapolis, you can hold them for 36 hours with nothing but probable cause. And the probable cause that they slapped on all of them, because I spent the whole night being involved with the jail to make sure that Josie wasn't going to be because she is known that she
Yeah.
wasn't going to be used to make some type of example of in terms
Right.
of charging her with some domestic terrorism or
Right.
sedition so we kept a very tight pulse on it. And I talked to the desk sergeant. They said, well, they all got brought in on probable cause. I was like, okay, yeah, I was there. Probable cause for what? Well, probable cause for rioting. And I was like, well, you're either rioting or you're not. So probable cause. And like, well, there has to be an investigation. And then a few hours later, they let them all go. So this is what I think. This is Tony's conspiracy crystal ball. Donald Trump was about a phone call away with Bovino and Noem in his ear about to pull the trigger on the Insurrection Act. Because it was getting there. You have the National Guard, you have state police, you have Minneapolis police, you have ICE agents claiming through Bovino to be under siege from people with pots and pans.
Yep.
I think it was close to that call. Someone in the administration or somebody, cooler heads prevail. And I think what happened, just based on conversations that we were hearing, is that Fry and Waltz and the president probably had a talk.
Right.
And I think somewhere in that talk, they were like, hey, we will use the Minneapolis State Police to quell this.
Right.
We'll bring them in. but Bovino's got to go. Because those two things, Bovino being canned and the state police coming in almost immediately, happened near simultaneous. So
Right.
that's what I think. The fear that I have is that there are still ICE agents in Minneapolis. They have not left.
Right.
So this is who left. Bovino and Bortak left.
Right.
Those agents that you saw that were pummeling Alex and eventually shot him, that was Bovino's personal goon squad called Bortak, or the Border Tactical Team, Bortak.
Okay.
It's kind of like the special forces of the CPB, not
Right.
ICE.
Right.
So,
right.
So
he
those
took
guys left with
him.
Bovino,
Okay.
but the rest of the ICE agents have not.
Right.
They're still there.
Yeah. I mean, that's a little bit of my fear, is that Democrats are making this big show of, well, now Tom Homan's coming in and where they're listening. But, you know, like I'm reading Ken Klippenstein's reports, and everything's going to be kept exactly where it is in terms of
bringing
the number
in Tom
of
Homan to replace Greg Bovino is like shitting your pants and changing your shirt.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Yeah, the guy who before he took office took a $50,000
bribe in a
this is the guy
in a
who's
paper bag.
now like
Yeah.
he's our rescue hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who by the way loves Stephen Miller, he happened to say.
Yes.
So what is the local law enforcement like? Are they having divided loyalties, or are they mostly coming down on the side of ICE? Did you have a sense of
no,
that?
the sentiment that I got, the kind of the tone and the tenor, the feeling, the human feeling of the Minneapolis police, they were great. I mean, when I was in the protest downtown the next night for Bye Bye Bovino, there were no ICE, there were no federal agents. It was all Minneapolis City Police, and they were great. They were very very supportive in the demonstration happening, and it was peaceful.
Right.
At the scene of the state police arriving and kind of setting in that cordon, and then the arrests, I'll tell you what, you can arrest people in a dynamic situation with respect without shooting them dead in the street. Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean,
so regardless of it happening, the way that they handled it was professional. They were respectful. When they arrested Josie, she stood there the entire time and spoke her mind, and they didn't tell her to shut up. They didn't call her any epitaphs or names.
Right.
And they were respectful to her, and everyone got released. No one got beat up.
Right.
You can actually conduct law enforcement activity without killing people. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I had a question about the people themselves. So, Minnesota's portrayed on TV as this uber leftist state somehow, and it's really been purple for decades. It's a split government there. Do you feel like there's a crack there, and you're getting Republicans out there supporting ICE as well?
No, anti-ICE. Are you saying anti-ICE or
against ICE? Excuse me,
yeah.
against ICE. Joining the protests.
Yes, particularly in the aspect of the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where
the
it
first
went
and
over
the
the
second,
line.
but the Second Amendment is kind of like the holy grail of MAGA and the Republican Party, and I think that's where because again, a lot of things happened in the news cycle. Josie called me 2 days ago and was like, "Hey, get here." I took what I was wearing, grabbed the toothbrush, jumped on a plane. I was there within a couple hours and stayed. And so I just did it guerrilla style, like insurgent guerrilla style, slept on the floor of someone's house. I don't even know where I was, but but yeah, just did it, grassroots style. But in doing so, the president had recently said, shortly after I got there the next day, about he shouldn't have had a gun.
Right.
Or he didn't like that he had a gun. It's like, that's, to anyone that we've heard talk about the Second Amendment, any of you Kyle Rittenhouse fans from years back, that's a problem. And it's making a clear divide. When I was at the vigil, you very clearly had a differing variety of people in terms of where you would normally put them along the political spectrum.
Right.
But they were all there to acknowledge that what happened was wrong.
Right.
And it is a violation of our constitutional rights. And that scares a lot of people, because having been there on Nicollet Street,
Right.
on the street where it happened, where you can still see the blood in the street where his vigil is, really brings it home to the fact that this is America. This isn't some third world country. This isn't some war zone or combat or Gaza or Syria. This is America, right here on Nicolette and 4th.
So that's what I sort of wanted to ask you about, because it does seem as though people who are in the military or military vets who, you know, have gone overseas to fight people who they told were told they were terrorists in third world countries who hated the US, and now to see how much our leaders lie to us, how anybody can be called a terrorist, I would think that that is making, or I'm wondering if that makes you, I mean, you can't speak for anybody else, but if that makes you sort of reevaluate a lot of what you were told through your whole career, because, you know, we're seeing how they call every Palestinian's a terrorist, how Venezuelans are terrorists, how, you know, like it's just constant lies. Then to see it happening here when we're all watching video from 6 different angles, and before there's any investigation, you have Kristi Noem and Bovino saying that he wanted to massacre law enforcement and he was a terrorist, and Renee Good is a terrorist, and how does that make you look at some of the way you've thought of third world countries where we're used to seeing violence, but probably those people don't enjoy the violence either? Like, how is that working for you to kind of come to terms with that?
I am embarrassed and disgusted by our administration and our government.
Yeah.
Not by the people of this country, but by the Kristi Noems, the Donald Trumps, the Greg Bovinos,
yeah,
the Homans. I'm disgusted. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But more so, I really am scared. I am frightened.
Yeah.
And since I have returned from Gaza, nearly every day has been like flipping the page in a book where the ending just keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and the cast of characters keeps growing, like you would expect to see in any James Bond villain novel. Like, we're coming up to the final boss, and I'm afraid what that final boss is going to be.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a bunch of idiots that have military power. Like, we have idiots in charge of the world's greatest, strongest military. We have sycophant, narcissist, pedophile idiots in charge of nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
It scares me.
So, we were talking about, there was a simulation done at UPenn in 2024 that basically, this is how it's playing out. It wasn't, when they did it, I can't remember what city they did the simulation for, but it's playing out very similarly in Minneapolis. And the conclusion from all of the military analysts who were part of the simulation was, this will lead to green on green violence, and that will be a civil war. And it feels like they are trying to provoke that. Like, they're going out here, as you said, like, even when they're not being violent, they're, flipping the bird and mooning people and drinking, and then they're berating people. They're putting people on registries. There's quite a few accusations that the killing of Renee Good and of Alex Pretty might have been targeted as payback, that they were already in a database. Alex Pretty had his ribs, or at least one rib.
He had a previous engagement, previous altercation with him. Probably the same guys.
I mean, so how do you feel about that with the people? I mean, obviously we had you on before with Matthew Ho, who we love, and Josie is also a vet. Like, so obviously you all you've gone one way. Is there a sense that you feel in the sort of veteran community is that most people are on your side, or is there a split?
There is a split, but I do feel that there are a lot of people, quote unquote, on our side.
On our side.
I've had since I've come out, the other veterans that have trashed me or attacked me are veterans whom I've never served with, that have, that hide behind handles and names on Twitter or X, or, who anonymously smear me. I don't call that a smear campaign. It's like, I don't even know who the person is.
Yeah.
Everybody that I know, that I have served with in uniform for 2 decades or longer, from my West Point roommate to a very close friend of mine who is still in, who I just talked to yesterday, and all of them are extremely supportive.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying the things that they can't. I'm saying the things that they want to, that they can't right now, but that I hope that they will. I hope that Admiral Hosey, once he is out, retired, and that 30-day period is up, I hope he comes out and speaks. He was the commander of Southern Command that resigned due to the boat strike policies. He resigned because of what the order given was.
Right.
I would love for him to come out and be a whistleblower to that, because I think that would show a lot more in the military. Like, this is
your
this
audio,
is from the top down.
your audio went out for just a second. Could you explain to people? So that was when they were just doing strikes. Oh no. Oh.
He's back.
He's back. Okay, here we go.
Just give it a second.
Yeah. So, Jay, I think that's the admiral who resigned when they were doing those strikes on fishermen in the Caribbean. Is that whom you're speaking about?
Yes, Admiral Hosey, who was the U.S. Southern Command commander.
And he has to wait 30 days. Is that the contract so that he gets his retirement, or is that like how that works?
Well, no. Usually, what happens is, he could retire and just, he can go hard in the paint and come right out of day one. Knowing that he's probably a prudent and intelligent man, he'll wait that 30, because it takes 30 days for your VA to kick in, and once it does, you're good. So
yeah,
he'll probably wait 30 days. If I were him, I would. Admiral Hosey, if I were you, I'd wait 30 days.
Yeah.
But once you do, I hope he comes out swinging with the truth, and I hope he brings it hard. We already have other general officers that are coming out and saying things like, yeah, that was a murder, or yeah, that's an illegal order, or and in fact, the National Guard commander, the 1-star National Guard commander, I don't know what state he's from. It might be Minnesota.
Okay.
It might be the Minnesota National Guard. He was asked in an interview, if your soldiers were given illegal orders, and he said, I would not follow them. I would disobey them absolutely.
I was just going to ask you about that.
A lot more veterans come out in support of Mark
Kelly.
Mark Kelly.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, how do you feel? Is there enough of a divide in if hypothetically Trump had pursued the Insurrection Act? Would there be a break in the military itself, or would most people comply at this point and follow orders? Like, would it be a civil war within the military itself?
Unfortunately, you would still have mass compliance, because let me just give you an example of the way that the military system, the United States Code of Military Justice, twists law that puts service members in a very bad situation. During COVID, taking the vaccine, if you didn't take it, you were separated from the military. The Supreme Court said you can't do that. It was already known that you cannot do that. So what did the military do? We're kicking you out because you failed to obey a direct order, not because you refused to get the vaccine. Right. See how twisted that is?
Right.
No. I don't want to get the vaccine. Okay, well then you're kicked out. Well, you can't kick me out because you can't force me to get it. We're not kicking you out because you didn't take the vaccine. We're kicked you out because you obeyed a direct order from an officer, and that's UCMJ code 53, not UCMJ code 51. So we're not kicking you out for 51. We're kicking you out for 53.
Right.
And that's what they did. That's the dirty secret behind that whole COVID piece, was that they didn't kick people out for not taking the vaccine. They kicked people out for disobeying an order. Nefarious and twisty. And that's what they do in deployments like this, or this if the Insurrection Act were incurred, they would have their lawyers, the highest levels of military lawyers, make it legal. I sat on one of the Senate Intel Committee hearings to swear in the newest admin lawyer for the CIA. And Mark Kelly was actually the one on the committee that asked this man, if you were given an illegal order or told to do something that that violated the Constitution by the president, would you do it? His answer should have been no. Or yes. The bottom line is the answer should be yes or no.
Right.
Preferably no. But his answer was this, well, it depends, and it's that, and it's this. That tells me that we have a deep problem, because you would have some military lawyer, a judge advocate general, a JAG, somewhere up in the Pentagon,
Right.
draft that order to where ordering soldiers to go, that if they disobey it, it's not disobeying for going into the American streets to potentially kill Americans. It's, well, because you didn't tie your shoes right.
Right.
It's very nefarious and twisted. And
Yeah.
that's what I fear, is because there are still those that are dedicated to rules and orders that would see it as a legal order.
Right.
So you're saying even high up the food chain, general level and whatnot, they would fire the people
Who refused.
directing their staff, or
Yeah, they would just, I could
general
clearly see an example. Let's say you have a battalion commander of, because the president's already told us that the 11th Airborne Brigade, the Airborne Brigade up in Alaska, they're the ones that have been activated for potential action to Minnesota, and that makes sense because they have the gear. Being up there, like you got to have the right gear. I mean,
Yeah.
I slipped on my butt about 47 times. I mean, you got to have the right gear.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that it would be the Alaska 11th Airborne Brigade, or excuse me, the 11th Airborne Division. But I could see a scenario in there. Well, you'll have a battalion commander say, "Okay, we're going," and a company commander, a captain, say, "I'm not doing it." Okay, you're fired, and someone else will step right into his place,
Right.
because there's always someone there looking for that, looking to kiss that big gold ring.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying. It doesn't seem, I mean, the only opposition really is from the people on the street. So,
Yes.
that feels really inspiring, but it certainly is terrifying to see how far they're willing to go. And obviously we know that there has been, crime against, or, abuse in our country, primarily of Black and brown people for, hundreds of years. And the fact that they are so willing, with really no provocation, while they're on camera, to murder people point blank who are white and clearly US citizens, and feel like they have complete impunity, that's a different level. It doesn't take away from the fact that this has been happening, like, by the way, almost nobody talks about Keith Porter. I mean, it's a slightly different circumstance, but we don't even know exactly what happened, right? He was shot on, I think, New Year's in Los Angeles. He had shot a gun in the air, is what people are saying, but there's no investigation. And they're fighting to keep out local investigators, both here and in Minneapolis. I mean, there's pages and pages of violations by DHS on, court orders.
It was almost like the sense that was there, that when ICE agents were there, everybody's tension, and there was just like this. It's like the people you don't like at the party. They're just like, "Can y'all just leave?" And as soon as they would leave and go back to the hotel, even the local police, everybody went back to this state of just being calm and normal people. And it's, ICE is being used intentionally by Stephen Miller, and because he's the one that wrote this immigration policy is his.
Yeah.
This is not Donald Trump's. This is Stephen Miller. Trump is just the useful idiot.
Right.
And we are seeing the purpose, the deliberate use of ICE as an antagonizing agent to then give pretext for greater action, like the Insurrection Act, to seize power so that Donald Trump can retain power going into the next election. That's what I think.
So my theory on that is it's similar to yours. I don't think in Minnesota that this action was stepped back because necessarily it was just too much for the public. I think it's part of a longer term plan to get us used to this conflict. They back down tensions, move to the next state, do the same thing. And the plan doesn't have to be like this week we do it. They want to do this before the midterms to affect voting.
Right.
So it's almost
I see
like
that, Patrick, and I
as a possibility. I mean, this is all hypothetical as well.
Yeah, that's a fair theory as well. Because I mean, Atlanta is next.
Yeah,
we already know, based on people on social media reporting, that there are building forces in Atlanta. They're going to hit churches. They're going to hit farms. They're going to hit supermercados, where a lot of Hispanics hang out. A lot of Hispanics in southern Atlanta. So Atlanta's next. and it'll be another test. Minneapolis was a test. If they
And it's
could have
also-
gotten, if they could have gotten away with it, they would have.
It's also a way of gaining more access to all of our biometric data, right? Like the more, like if it all went off just because of Los Angeles and Chicago and Minneapolis, they'd only have 3 cities, and there's
Fair
many more
point.
cities of this country. So it's, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, like this is a huge endeavor by our surveillance state and Palantir and the government and the database, all the cameras. They're using those meta glasses.
They are. Yes, they are.
It's really, that is terrifying. But like, yeah, if it all went off right now, they wouldn't have had enough time to build up all. I mean, I'm sure they have information on all of us, but
That's a great point.
yeah,
It could be strategic tactical patience in terms of we're not going to do the spoiling event here because then we lose all this. It's kind of in a way, you know, setting up your pawns and your rooks.
Almost.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
So 2 good points. Yeah, absolutely. I could definitely see it that way as well. And I think that my bottom line to this is that kicking Bovino out of Minnesota and having a temporary pause of heightened hostilities hasn't addressed the problem.
No,
It hasn't
at all.
addressed anything policy wise. We're just putting a band-aid on something and hoping it doesn't bleed again, and it's going to bleed again bad soon. I'm scared for what the next you know, ice coming to a city near you. I'm scared for what that next one might be.
Yeah, it's really terrifying. And again, you know, the party of opposition is basically saying, we'll give you all your money, which is a 3-fold increase from last year that was supposed to be a one-off. If you just do these 5 things, which are, that's all part of what the law is right now anyway, for the most part. It's just not enforced. So like, they're going to say, look at that victory lap. We got Tom Homan in, Bovino out. They're going to make it Bovino and Noem the boogeyman, and then that will be over.
Yeah, the
We'll
Democrats,
also-
the
It's like a
Democrats
fake
and the
ceasefire
Republicans are
deal.
failing us.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, they're all failing us because you're right. The Democrats are going to say, "Oh, look, we did this, and they're
We
stepping
fought
back,
tough.
and we won. We talked tough." Meanwhile, Atlanta burns.
Yeah, and we gave them an extra $2 billion for body cams, so that's a win.
We did.
Here's $2 billion. You know.
Yeah,
or
Merry
whatever it is,
Christmas.
you know. Yeah.
And meanwhile, the way we saw the Renee Good murder was from, I mean, it wasn't his body camera, but he had no problem, the guy taping his own murder of her, right? Like that was
they're doing it.
Yeah.
When
Like the
Renee Good
IDF.
was shot, certainly every ICE agent on the street knew that there were at least 10 cameras on them. That's the world we're in now.
Yep.
When they shot, and I call it a summary execution. When Alex Preddy was executed by summary execution by firing squad on Nicolette Street, of course they know that everybody had cameras and was watching.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
Which also sort of feeds into that theory that I subscribe to, that they are doing, I mean, we all do, that they're antagonizing this intentionally. Somebody will be martyred, one of them, and I guess they're fine with it, because then that will be used for the Insurrection Act and to just martial law. And this is why we need even more surveillance and restrictions. And it, you know, they seem to be fine putting themselves in that kind of harm also.
Well, they feel that they feel super entitled, obviously.
Right.
They're and every day they come out of their cave, their hotel or whatever cave they're staying in, they always come out with a new arraignment of toys. It's like the evil Batman.
Yeah.
You know, they first they were just coming out with a pistol and a pro mask and some of them had body armor, some of them didn't. Now they look like they're equipped by the IDF to invade the West Bank. They have every type of non-lethal munition you can think of. I haven't seen the array of non-lethal munition, pepper sprays, pepper balls, and tasing capability ever. I mean, that stuff is expensive. And now they're coming out with the meta glasses. And now they're coming out with new weapons. If you notice, they're all carrying a new style of weapon now. Yeah. That's like this paint pellet / taser / flip of the switch. You can go on to actually shooting bullets. So,
oh my God.
It's a matter of time before someone gets
accidentally
gunned down bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
and
Patrick.
especially, well, no, I mean, clearly when you're hiring a lot of Proud Boys and one percenters and the racist people feel entitled because the president of the United States is saying, that murder everybody saw happened, didn't happen. Those guys have the, immunity.
Yeah.
So, one of those guys, even if the plan wasn't for them to administer this violence, it's going to happen regardless because of those people being in your ranks and with such power, unchecked authority.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And after they killed Renee Good, and after a day of murdering an American citizen, arresting Americans, terrorizing Americans, they all go back with attaboys. Oh, God, got that one. That's drinking beer in the hotel, waiting to go out and do it the next time. They have zero empathy or compassion.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
their fellow Americans.
Yeah, and just human beings. They were like clapping after they put 10 bullets into his back.
Sick.
It's really sick.
Sick. There's like that. There's something like cognitively wrong with that person,
and it's so widespread. So there's been an interesting crossover. I think there is. Obviously, we are having really dire economic situation in this country, and again, bipartisan. They have just the regulations left, and everything has trickled up, or been boosted up as fast as possible. The transfer of wealth to the 0.001%, and then immigrants became the scapegoat. And one thing that, and listen, everybody can have different ideas about borders and all of the kind of stuff, but what we are doing now isn't working on any level. We need some sort of, first of all, it is legal to apply for asylum.
That's
and
right.
When people are here, especially when they're here legally, but like we also know laws are arbitrary. And so, there can be the Dream Act, and then all of a sudden it's yanked away.
Exactly. And
right?
there's a difference between someone coming into the country illegally, however, depending on the condition of which they came, maybe as an asylum seeker or escaping. But then you have those that came into the country under a legal process that the law has then since changed, and they're trapped. One thing that I will say, in 2003, when ICE was created and they divested INS and created this new CT tactical, let's go out and serve warrants like we're killing terrorists type of thing, it removed a lot of the functions for naturalization and immigration. So you had a lot of immigrants. And if you look, 2002, illegal immigrants in the country was about 8.1 million. 2003, it jumped up to 12 million because in that time, visas expired, paperwork expired, and there was no one to do it. Because of ICE. ICE doesn't do that. ICE doesn't do immigration and naturalization services.
Right.
They do enforcement.
Yeah.
It's like having a police without detectives.
Yeah. Okay, so this is leading me to the question, which is both with this like ICE invasion and with Israel's genocide, I have seen groups of people who I think are sort of proudly Nick Fuentes supporters, proudly xenophobic white supremacists. They believe in great replacement. And with Israel, I think they're using the horrors that we are all feeling of Zionism and an apartheid state committing a genocide to sort of exploit some of the understandable horror that we're all feeling, but as a gateway. As they are speaking out against Israel, it is a path towards their own version of, their white supremacy. It's not because they are pro-Palestinian necessarily. It's because they really want to drum up the anti-Semitism against all Jews, whether they are Zionists or anti-Zionists. And I feel like there's also this strange crossover now because the First Amendment didn't seem to bother some of the people on the right very much when that was being infringed upon with protesters in our country. Even the Fourth Amendment didn't seem to be that big of a deal. It wasn't until we got to the Second Amendment. But so some of these alliances feel treacherous to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that you have those that the Nick Fuenteses, the Ben Shapiros. I'm sure there's many others. Those are the two that annoy me the most. So those are the two I remember. That they are antagonizing, rabble-rousing grifters. They'll take whatever side it is to be able to just create oh, look how look how
The
look
big
how
thing
like,
is,
cutting edge I am. Look
yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
look how controversial I am.
Yeah.
Like that was Turning Point. Kirk, that was his whole shtick.
Yeah.
He would say
exactly.
something outlandish and then be like, "Prove me wrong."
Yeah. Yeah.
Just for the reaction.
Yeah. Yeah. So that just, especially now as you are becoming because I know we don't have you for that much longer. As you are becoming a political figure, you are running for Congress. Can you tell us about your platform, what your sort of red lines are, or what we purity testers call our purity test? What your platform is and what you are hoping to do?
Well, as a candidate, in my run, I will not take money from AIPAC. I will not take money from any large corporations. I will not take money from any super PACs. I will not take money from any lobbies. I will not take money from anything that touches the military-industrial complex. I want an end to wars. I want a reinvestment into the Americans within America: universal health care, affordable housing, livable wage, universal child care, to start putting Americans first. And people would say, well, how would you do all this? Well, I'd start by not giving Israel billions of dollars every year. That's how I'd start.
Yeah.
There's a way to cut it. And the other thing, one thing that I bring to the table of experience that I don't think a lot of other people have, is that at the House level, in the House of Representatives,
Right.
legislating is very much roll up your sleeves work, writing resolutions, going door to door, getting buy-in to your resolution, bringing it to the floor, doing the grind. And I can do that. And I understand the earmarks of the NDA, the National Defense Authorization Act, where to cut spending, where we could cut spending, not believing the bullshit. Oh, well, if you take this out, American soldiers will starve to death. Well, it's not true. That's
And by the way,
absolutely not true.
so little of that money is going to them anyway.
You're right.
Right.
You're right. It's
Yeah.
like, no, if I take this money, you then can't go flip around and rename bases 8 more times.
Right.
It won't touch the troops at all. How about we use this to actually help our Americans? So before anyone talks to me about, well, we can't do this and we can't do that, we should do, we don't need handouts. I'm like, well, how about we stop giving Israel a handout?
Yeah.
How about we stop giving Israel a handout and put Americans first and see how that goes first?
And
But
our
when
whole
it comes
military industrial complex, right? I mean,
right? I mean, I can't believe it doesn't not shock, but you can see it so clearly. Like the last chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the last SecDef, Lloyd Austin.
Right.
Lloyd Austin retired from the military as a 4-star general of Central Command, one of the highest ranking officers in the military, in quite arguably the most powerful position of military might in the military, Central Command. He gets out and goes right into a job at C-suite at Raytheon, and then becomes the SecDef, and Raytheon's investment in future weapons in the military goes up 30%. Yeah. And then he retires from being the SecDef and goes back to work for Raytheon, and no one questions that. That is disgusting.
It's disgusting.
It
that
is
revolving door
disgusting.
is disgusting. Yep.
And I can tell anyone and everyone, as a candidate in my district, I'm not rich. I've worked my butt off for my retirement in my VA. I have investments in no stocks and no bonds, no penny stocks, no penny trades. I have no stocks in anything in the military. I have none. I don't even have a Roth IRA. I have nothing in the bank. I don't invest in anything. So when I go up to DC, there's not going to be an ink of legislation that when it comes across my desk, there's any thought in my mind as, how does this impact my pocket?
Right.
How does this impact me personally? If I say block the bombs, is that going to impact my Roth IRA investment for retirement that I have in Raytheon's new missile?
Right.
Maybe, right? And these are real things.
Yeah.
Look at Pelosi. These are real considerations that congressmen make decisions based on. If I push back against that, that might impact me.
Yeah.
I will fight for legislation for my constituency base without any consideration of me. And they can smear me and they can attack me and it won't matter because I can walk around the halls of Congress knowing that as a Green Beret, I faced a lot worse and a lot harder situations. Congress doesn't scare me.
What about abolishing ICE? How do you feel about abolishing ICE?
Abolish ICE. Must.
Yeah.
The function needs to be reformed. The form, i.e. the agency, must be abolished. It is beyond reform.
So you're running as a Green, right?
I am.
I understand. Yeah. So I know you have a lot of I wouldn't say bipartisan support because it's a lot of lefties, as well, but you do have a lot of Republican people who support what you did as far as whistleblowing in Gaza. How do they feel about you running as a Green? Because I support the Green platform 100%, but do you think you'll have that support carry over for people that aren't even Greens? Like, will you get a lot of Republican support?
I think, now obviously there's not going to be everybody, but I think if we look at, Mamdani and Butch Ware out in California, the majority of adults, my generation and up, the majority of us now identify independent.
Yep.
Almost all of the millennials and Gen Z identify as independent. Yep. The world is tired of this lie of the two-choice menu between Republican and Democrat. And they lie, and they lie, and they lie. You're throwing your vote away. No, you're not. Here's the, and when you vote for someone that is not part of those two parties, what I say is it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It has to start somewhere. Yeah. Breaking that system has to start somewhere. We can't just continue to say, well, someday there'll be a candidate. Someday there'll be a candidate. Well, the time is now across our nation. Yeah. The opportunity has never been better, and the time has never been more important that we have to change that paradigm. And what you get in someone like in a third party, caucusing. If you look at what happened on the floor, right, where the president, or excuse me, twice now in the war powers reaffirmation, the vice president had to come in and break that vote. Democrats, Republicans, locked. Puts all the power into the hands of the Republican, or of the Republicans, really. Imagine if you had a third party caucusing outside of his party that could then decide which way that went on the 49th or 50th vote. That would be power.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, other countries are much more successful with the parliamentary.
That used to be our country.
I know.
We used to be that way.
Yeah.
Prior to our 18th president, Grant, prior to him, there wasn't just Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. In fact, our first Republican president didn't come along until Lincoln. And in Lincoln's second term, he didn't even run as a Republican. He ran as a national unionist. Right. So our government was created through poly as in plural political parties. Right. Yeah. And our founders even said that the two-party system will be our downfall. We have to break it. And I hope that America now sees that following the two-party line, where both sides are corrupt and compromised by corporatism and capitalism and Israel, that this is where it gets us.
Yeah. Listen, I know we have you for just a couple more minutes, but there are some super chats with questions for you. So I just wanted to make sure that we bring them up. Citizen Pendejo, thank you for your super chat. Tony 2028. Soon I'll be able to cut ads for your 26 campaign, subject to your approval, of course. So that's a big fan of yours, Citizen Pendejo. Thank you, Cheers, Citizen. We have Zainab, a dear friend of the show, and in real life, Cop City is in Atlanta and has a contract with DHS. It's massive, could be a staging ground. Absolutely. And they're already.
That's why I'm concerned about Atlanta.
Centers in Minnesota, too. There have a plan to build them
but
out. Yeah.
Cop City in Atlanta, because just outside of Atlanta is where the Georgia Regional Law Enforcement Training Center is. It is massive. That's why I'm scared about Atlanta, that it could be the raising the bar.
Right.
And for ultimately Democrats to have funded all of this for Donald Trump's use is just absurd. It's a bipartisan project, but he's going to be the leader of this bipartisan project.
Yep.
Yeah, it's sick.
Cheers, Zainab. Thank you. And last one for right now, we have 2Fs. Do we know how many IOF turned ICE there are, like percentage wise? Cheers and thank you. I'm going to take the panel down so we can see Anthony's face. Thank you, 2Fs. Yeah. Do you have any idea? At least they train with them.
A solid number, no. I do know factually that there are IDF that operate in ICE as exchange officers under the Binational Industrial Research and Development Program. We have that exchange program. For example, we have a permanent ICE office in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
Those ICE officers there are assigned to the IDF in some field capacity. That is the same. There are IDF in ICE either at the staff level or in some capacity field operations. That's a fact.
Yeah.
How many? I don't know. I do also know, confirmed to at least 6, maybe more, but at least 6 where I've corroborated face to confirmation in their new job, to confirmation on the roster of who was with me downrange in Gaza, that there are at least 6 of the infidel motorcycle club contractors that I served with in Gaza that are now in ICE right now in the field. One of them I saw in Minneapolis.
Did he see you?
Wow.
No, he was too busy drinking and flicking people off, but I could
Yeah.
recognize the classic Crusader infidels tattoo.
Oh my God. That is just horrific. Anthony Aguilar, thank you for joining us. You are truly inspirational. You are a hero for so much that you've been doing, that you continue to do, and we are following your journey with so much pride. Thank you.
Well, this campaign is for all of us. This is not for me. I punched my ticket on government service. I got my retirement certificate. You know, I've served my country. I'm doing this for us because I want us, the people, to win. I'm tired of the corruption. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of being treated like we're garbage by our own government. I don't want my children to grow up that way. I don't want your children to grow up that way. I don't want my children fighting in wars like I fought for the last 25 years. I'm in this for all of y'all. So this is a people-powered grassroots movement to where it's not just money. It takes, like, now in the social media world, so many people out there that know social media far better than I do. I suck. I barely know how to log in. To help me with that and spreading the message, the algorithm, the likes, the reels, the follows, like there's a science to it that the younger generation, they're so good at it.
Yeah.
That's how you win nowadays. That's the power.
Yeah.
So that's where everybody can really, really help me. Here in North Carolina, if you're in District 13, vote for me. If you're here and you want to go out and you want to help knock on doors and do town halls and put out signs and do events, help me. We'll need it. This is grassroots. If you can't do any of that, you want to donate, that too. If you can't do any of that, but you've got some skills on social media to make some things and push it, do that too.
Well, thank you. We have your Aguilar for uscongress.com. It is also, the link is also in the description of our of the YouTube channel. We have one more I just want to put up here from David Hunter NYC. Yes, he said, and thank you, by the way, for your super chat. Thank you. Will you abolish ICE and DHS? Will you vote for a $1.5 trillion Pentagon budget? Will you back enforcing term limits? Will you, there's a lot of questions here. You've answered 2 of them already. Will you back a constitutional amendment, right to privacy? Do you want to take any of those?
What was I pop them up again? So
yeah. Sorry. So you had already answered yes.
So abolish ICE, yes. I don't know enough about how deeply rooted the cavity of ICE is into all of DHS, but DHS is not just ICE. And remember, ICE and DHS did not come along until 2003.
Right.
I think, based on what I understand of the process, because I've read the DHS strategy ad nauseum, I think that there's reform and salvageability in DHS. Obviously, new leadership, Noem has got to go. New leadership, Steve Miller's got to go. But in DHS itself, abolish ICE, but reform within that the CPB, the TSA, because remember, all those things fall under DHS. It's not just ICE.
Is INS still part of that DHS, or is that separate?
INS was abolished in 2003 and replaced with ICE, which is why we have such a problem with our immigration and naturalization process, because all the people that did the process were abolished and they brought in armed goons that don't do paperwork. Yeah,
Yikes.
scary.
Yeah.
So will you vote for the 1.5 trillion Pentagon budget? That has to be cut. And I know that it can be cut to half or less because I served in the military at a time when we were fighting so many wars and the budget was less than that. But I also know that if you go through there and you look at the earmarks and you look at how much of that is woven in to go to Israel, I guarantee you I can sit down with the entire budget through the NDA and the National Military Strategy and just outline what's in there as a subterfuge to give Israel more money. And I
And
will
how about
cut
having them
that.
pass an audit for the first time in
Well,
26
so
years?
that's a huge one. And I have always, even in the military, I was always an advocate for that because
Yeah.
every year we as staff officers have to grind our butts off doing
Right.
internal auditing of our spending because the Pentagon audit, and then it never came. They never did it. And we're like, what the, like, it's not
Yeah.
us hiding it. We're not hiding anything. Who's hiding it? It's the top. The top's hiding it. Yes, an audit. Yes, bring in OSD CAPE, Capabilities Assessment Program Agency. They're basically the watchdog. Bring in OSD CAPE. We didn't need a Doge. We had OSD CAPE.
Yeah.
Bring in OSD CAPE. Find the fraud, waste, and abuse. Cut that budget. Hold the department accountable. What is wrong with accountability? Hold them accountable.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Then, back in enforcing term limits, of course.
Okay, I have to say I don't believe in that, but I'm curious to hear your.
Well, so
your
here's my
idea.
thing on term limits. We organically have term limits in our country. It's voting.
That's how I feel. Yeah, that's
Now,
democracy.
term limits in terms of a strict term limit to where should we have a Strom Thurmond who's 98 years old sitting in the Senate drooling on himself making votes for children's school? Yeah, there should be limits to that. But
I feel taking money out of politics, I think, would go a far way to do that, right? Taking money out of politics. Oh, did we lose you? Can you hear me?
I'm back. Someone was
okay.
ringing and I said,
yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Go ahead. You should answer the question.
No, I was just saying that. Yeah, the term limits piece, enforcing the term limits. But we, like I said, we have an organic term limit process in our country. Right. But people keep buying elections, so it kind of undercuts that.
Yeah.
Will you back a constitutional amendment right to privacy? Yes, I think Greg Stoker and I were actually talking about this yesterday because we were talking about abolishing ICE, which is a global war on terror product. Yeah. We were talking about being, shaking it up a little bit, and let's put on the table, whether we do it or not. Let's put on the table to abolish the Patriot Act.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen on that.
Please.
100%.
Yes.
What a great platform. Thank you for coming on. I know that you are so busy. You're flying all over the place. You're doing shows. You are getting.
I'll be up in DC. I'm heading up to DC tomorrow to participate on Friday in the nationwide strikeout rally. Yes. So nationwide on Friday, people are gonna not go to school, not go to work, not buy stuff, hit the streets. And I know that's not conducive for everybody, but I'll be up in DC participating in that. And then who knows where after that.
Well, that's fantastic. And I'm hoping I get to see you when you come out to Los Angeles. So
I'll be out in your neck of the woods for quite a bit of February, 11th through the 13th in Irvine. And then 16th through the 21st in the whole Bay Area, a whole lot of places. So,
all right. You'll like the weather, I think, a little more out here.
yeah. Minneapolis was cold. Yeah, that was cold.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Please
thank you, good sir.
Safe.
You're amazing.
And thank you both for your courage and your platform. I know that you do this at great risk, and it's not easy. And thank you both for speaking out, continuing to speak out, continuing to be provocative and ask the hard questions and talk about the hard topics, because we need that. We need that. So thank you both.
Thank you. Thanks, Anthony. Cheers.
See y'all.
That was fantastic. And initially when he announced last week, I thought he was running as an independent. And when I was going on his website today, I saw that he's part of the Green Party now, which I think is really smart, because you need, an organization behind you. He can't do everything on his own. I think that will sort of catapult him into spaces faster, obviously. So that's wonderful. And of course, we love their platform. He's awesome. Very happy to have him on.
Absolutely.
All right.
And the rest of his platform, which we didn't get to, is very green. I mean, he's pushing for Medicare for all,
Yep. Universal child care.
Yeah.
Stop the endless wars. Like, yeah. It's
the green stuff.
All the good green stuff.
All right.
All right. Should we spin or cheers? How you feeling? I think we spin.
Yeah, let's just go to the wheel.
We
need the wheel.
We need like there's so much.
I need a reason to grab another beer.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here we go. 1 second.
Yeah, baby.
All right. I'm calling my own audible and just refilling my glass while you put on a good pup.
All right, here's some fields. I've got all water life for the pups today for some reason.
Ooh, okay, I like it.
Your turn.
Those are awesome. We haven't had one of those before. I love it.
Right. My dad used to be a teacher, and in the summers he commercial fished for salmon. So he would go take a boat out, and the thing about those seals, they're really like the dogs of the sea. They are seriously dogs. They're dogs.
That's really cute.
And the thing that we used to do, though, the dirty fisherman trick, is seals will follow your boat trying to get your fish. They're smart. They're pretty smart. So fishermen the fishermen are kind of dicks to each other.
Right.
They would try to go by another fishing boat that passed the sea lines onto the other boat. Like, you get them
because they would just jump on the boat.
No, they would just eat the fish because you've got bait down there on the line. Sometimes even eating the line.
Right.
I mean the fish, the bait on the line.
Very, very cute. I love it. All right, let's get right back into some of the ice stuff, because this is just, we keep seeing, like we showed on Sunday, that who is it? Oh my God, my brain. Bill Kristol, right-wing warmonger, neoconservative, George W. Bush guy, calling out Democrats for not fighting harder against the invasion of ICE. Right now we have, go ahead.
Well, no, it's wild. We've got the NRA coming out saying there needs to be an investigation. Like, I mean, the fracture Trump is creating within the Republican Party is just crazy to me.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Strategically very bad for his own self interest.
Totally. I mean, I guess for me, I mean, you're right. Like, he has so little support anymore, but also for me to see Republicans or former Republicans who are basically just never Trumpers speaking out more vehemently against Trump than Democrats, or pushing Democrats to actually be a party of opposition when they refuse to, has just been, it's another instructive moment for anybody who still believes in the Democratic Party.
True.
This is, so Tim Walz, he's already not running again for governor. He withdrew. He has not handled this incredibly well. He is he was absent for about 5 days. Now we get word that Homan's coming in and Bovino's out, and he had a civil talk with Trump. And so, but we all know who Homan is. He helped the deporter in chief. He's a cruel, disgusting man. There's no, like, as Anthony said, it's like, shitting your pants and changing your shirt. Like, that's not helpful. And any Democrat who thinks that that's the solution, you know, good, go if that's your answer. But here he is on the Tim Miller Bulwark show. Again, a George W. Bush guy, a Republican. All he is never Trump, Tim Miller, getting pushed by Tim Miller.
I concur that getting rid of little Greg is a plus, but the demand was to get ICE out and CBP out, and to replace him with Tom Homan, who, you know, has been in his own right pretty incendiary on Fox, and, you know, has his own baggage. I'm wondering, you know, if you think that's a satisfactory change for starters, and when you meet with him, what you're going to ask him about.
Well, look, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And Tim, I think you recognize this, and I've heard you. I think you have the vibe, if you will, of this one on this. This White House makes decisions based on emotions and non-reality that we're living in. I am in a position right now where I want to be very careful to continue to stand up, and we won't give an inch, but not to poke the bear. We don't need it. My hope is with Tom Homan is different from Greg Bovino and these, you know, these folks on the streets that are just amateurs, that he is a true, you know, law enforcement professional. You know, I certainly wouldn't agree with his ideology on things, but I think what he understands is this thing turned into a disaster for them.
You're giving him the benefit of the doubt. You know his history. There is no benefit of the doubt. There's no doubt. We know who he is.
And that's the real problem is it's not even about who he is. You're skipping over the agenda. You're pretending there is no agenda in all of this.
Yeah.
Like that's the part you need to be screaming from the rooftops is, hey, this is to form civil unrest and a justification to bring more surveillance on you good American citizens. And, you know, it has nothing to do with immigration. This is just a big plan to surveil you more.
And create
and we're against that. We don't want we don't care if there's a nicer version of the guy. Like he doesn't wear Nazi coats. That's not what we're looking for.
Yeah. Also, I'm so tired of hearing about this training. Like I don't know if the person who killed, and apparently two of them were shooting the guns, but Alex Pretty, today I heard someone say that he was a many-year veteran of ICE, but certainly Jonathan Ross, who killed Renee Good, had been part of ICE for at least a decade. It's not training. I mean, it is the training. The training's the problem. You're not going to train yourselves out of this. You're not going to reform yourselves out of this. This is how they are trained to see us. I can't believe that that's his answer and that it's Tim Miller who's pushing back on him. Like, it's just.
Yeah, you can't be left of Tim Miller as a Democrat.
Jesus Christ.
And this is a guy not even running for office. Like he can just speak his mind with elections not even being a part of it.
Wait, sorry. I saw a comment that the Punch Up Pod boys called our abolish ICE platform juvenile and radical. Like, not the Punch Up Pod, the Pod Save boys. Okay, I was like, wait. I didn't do that. Okay, got you. Yeah, no, they're awful. They make.
I like being a Punch Up Pod boy. That sounds like a boy band. Like I'm Punch Up Pod boy.
Punch Up Pod boys. Yeah, no, they're all horrible. They make fun of the left when we're right about everything years before they are, and then when they finally get on board, they're still resentful that we were right first. You know, like all of them can suck it. Okay.
Well, if you didn't vote for Kamala, you voted for all of this.
My God.
All these fuckers would be saying today, and some of them still do online, but they know they can't go there because the public is not with them on that at all. So it's left to the really, you know, the Kennys of the online Twitter world.
Jesus. I mean,
true scumbags. But they won't say that shit. But they want to.
Yeah.
If we weren't winning the argument, they would be saying that still.
Absolutely. Yeah, they'd be blaming us for this. Okay, so yeah, this is where Democrats are coalescing around five restrictions on ICE. DHS must cooperate with state probes. I mean, where's the enforcing mechanism? And also, CBP border.
Not to go off of number one yet.
Yeah, no, off yet.
Well, no, I mean, put it back up. What is it? DHS must cooperate with state probes. That's in the law now, motherfucker. Right. Like you didn't need to codify that any further. Use your authority to enforce it. Like,
And they
you're just
won't.
going to get them to sign another peace agreement with Palestine or something. Is that what this is? It's just such bullshit.
It's all bullshit because, first of all, there are something like 96 violations of judges' orders that the CBP has already committed. And there's no, there are second injunctions happening when people are being, shuttled off, 5-year-olds to other states, other countries even. And there's no mechanism apparently to enforce. So these are laws, a judge's injunction is supposed to stand. And then you've just got an administration who says that there are no guardrails. It's just their own morality.
In Minnesota itself, that Mr. Tim Walz is just saying, hey, come on in, new administration. We'll work with you. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. The courts ordered they preserve that site for their state investigators, and they did not do it. And they did not give them access to the crime scene. So they already broke the, that you don't take that and say, well, let's make them do this thing, because they're not going to do it. I mean,
they've already had these orders and injunctions, and they appeal or they just ignore them, and then nothing happens. The thing with because this just came up, violation of court orders. Attached to this order is an appendix that identifies 96 court orders that ICE has violated in 74 cases. ICE has likely violated more court orders in January 2026 than some federal agencies have violated in their entire existence. And where are the repercussions? What's the consequence? Nothing. This is stick to the border, guys. The back to the border is hilarious when we know that 3/4 of the US population lives in the 100-mile border zone. So that, once again, Chicago is part of the border.
Yeah, that gets you out of 3 purple states.
Yeah.
And the purple states are all this really is about, because, if they can find a reason to suppress enough votes in purple states, then in the midterms, Republicans can win or not lose as badly, which protects Trump from prosecution and jail time. That's really how I see it. I don't really see Trump 2028 as an option.
No.
I think we won't stomach that.
Yeah.
But if he can use his powers unchecked to fuck with the election in the midterms, it could keep him out of prison.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And what were the other two? IDs, body cams, and ICE out of churches and schools, warrants for arrest. Alec Karakatsanis has done so much great research and put it into really digestible, both, threads on Twitter, but also his book Propaganda, which is fantastic. None of that works. They know it doesn't work. Study after study show that body cameras don't work. It's not about the body cameras. It's not about the training. None of this makes us safer. None of it makes them abide by the law. So, this is exactly what Democrats are going to do. And then they will give them the same amount of inflated budget that was supposed to be a one-off and say that they won something. It's just,
they will go farther than that. They will increase the budget because of the cop cameras. We want them to have body cameras. So we're going to give them more money.
Yeah. And
hey, we want them to have another week of training on cultural sensitivity or something. So that's another $2 billion de-escalation. That they should have at least a week of that. That's $17 billion.
Meanwhile,
ICE.
The country has never been more in favor for abolishing ICE. So it's a bad policy decision. It's a bad political decision. It makes no sense. 46% support abolishing ICE versus 43. It's never been at that level. And it's only going to go up because they are spreading to other cities. And the more people are affected by it, the more they see these murders on the street, the more they're horrified.
Completely. And, from an actual pundit sort of viewpoint, if you're a Democrat, you're like, hey, take ICE to every state and do this shit because it's good for us. It's easiest. We're gonna have our elections are gonna be so much easier in every state that you do this shit.
I mean,
But
that
the
was the
danger
whole
is the
strategy.
Insurrection Act, and that's where this whole like just let them show their asses to everybody and then they'll vote for us. Well, not if they pass the insurrection or they enact the Insurrection Act and do things to
We have
get the
martial
voter.
law.
I mean, the fact that the voter rolls are part of this discussion in Minnesota should tell you a lot.
Insane that they are bribing them, blackmailing them. We will leave your state if you give us the voter rolls. This just came. This is the new Trump fundraising email. I reached out last week about my citizens only survey. Your file says you're a top MAGA patriot, but my response, sorry, I have to get really close. My records to my survey still say response pending. Don't tell me you're an illegal alien. That cannot be true. This is your final moment to prove me wrong. This is to the person who shared this, Brian. Please, are you a proud American citizen, or does ICE need to come and track you down?
Yeah. Fucking
I mean,
soulless pieces of shit.
It's insane.
And someone was asking, do we think that the Trump administration is going to go for it? I mean, look, they might as well pretend to go for it because there's been no consequence to all those rules that are already in place. And then the Democrats can say, well, we got them to say this. Oh, look, they didn't fall through again. Oh,
now it's the midterms. Just vote.
Lucy pulled the football. Never saw that coming.
Yep. Exactly. Which is why you have Tim Walz, as you said, who there's no risk now because he's not even running again. He does not need to say the benefit of the doubt for a guy who says that Stephen Miller is brilliant, right?
The benefit of the doubt to that guy who also took a sack of $50,000 in a brown paper bag before he got his office, and there was no consequence to it.
No, and by the way, that was Biden. They did not prosecute him because this is a bipartisan effort. He was
standards and norms.
Yeah. What's his face? I mean, look at this. And here is why it's just so embarrassing, especially in this moment, that I ever was part of this party. This is Caroline Leavitt handing it right back to Democrats.
This is a Washington Post headline from 9 years ago, 2016. Meet the man the White House has honored for deporting illegal immigrants. And I would remind everyone in this room that it was former President Barack Hussein Obama who awarded a medal to Mr. Homan. So he's obviously very qualified. He has the full trust and faith of the president. He will continue to have these meetings in the hopes that ICE and local law enforcement can cooperate and work together to have successful immigration enforcement, as we've seen in almost every other state across the country.
I mean,
Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah, she had to get that in.
Just fucking disgusting.
Just disgusting.
I don't know how you hear that and not if you're trying to appeal. Obviously, she's not trying to appeal to anyone on the left, but people in the middle hear that and they're like, "What is that? What? Why are you?"
Yeah,
they don't believe in that. They think Obama might have been shitty or something, but they don't think he's this
the racism of it is not appealing.
It's not.
Anybody.
Yeah, it's not. It's just
except for the
all
one
they
person
are is
she's doing it for. Yeah,
it's entirely dog whistling to Trump and the racist, Trump and the racist. But that's it.
Yeah. So this is another fantastic show of force by the leader of the Democrats.
Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller are fucking liars. Any administration that allows them to continue in office is rotten to its core. The vote on appropriations is coming up Thursday night, and Democrats will not let the Republicans move forward if ICE and DHS funding are in the bill.
Great to see you all show up. Thank you.
He swore. Oh my God.
Tough
he
guy.
swore.
Fight Club. That's the Fight Club.
Dude, you're going to be as popular as Beto any day now. Who lost.
Yep.
This whole swearing thing doesn't work.
I want to see him jump up on a tabletop.
On a desk.
Yeah.
if he could skate, we could see him on a skateboard, maybe that would sell me on
That's
him.
what would do it. So, I mean, this is so crazy. So the thing that is getting everybody is, yeah, he's aroused, is the Second Amendment folks are really very upset because they came out of the gate so quickly on Alex Preddy's murder, blaming his murder on the fact that he had a gun, and you don't go to a protest with a gun, and he was intending to massacre law enforcement. You know, of course, like, these are the people who were totally fine, as we talked about before, with Kyle Rittenhouse coming to protest with a gun and killing people, actually killing people. So this is, but now Trump keeps having to walk it back. Like, he said it because that was sort of like the line. And I think part of the reason they knew he had a gun was because they knew him from 11 days prior. Because in that interaction, his gun was much more clearly visible. In fact, should we just show, we don't have to watch the whole 3-minute clip, but yeah.
Well, but I think we're going to show the clip, but at the end of the clip, you see the gun behind his back, holstered still. This is where he probably broke his ribs, because it's the only footage they have. But we have to understand about all that is that ICE is managing and watching every piece of footage they have on any incident. So they knew, even if at the time they didn't know he had a gun, post this event, they knew he had a gun.
Right. Yeah. So this is from January 13th.
This is a moment the news movement filmed on January 13th in Minneapolis, showing a man who appears to be Alex Preddy interacting with federal immigration agents 11 days before Border Patrol shot and killed him. Our footage was analyzed by the BBC, whose facial recognition technology confirmed his identity to a 97% degree of accuracy. On the morning of January 13th, our team received a tip that federal agents were blocking a street at the corner of East 36 and Park Avenue in Minneapolis. We arrived around 10:15 a.m. We saw observers shouting at the agents as they walked back to their vehicles. When they started driving away, the man kicked their taillight. An agent then got out of the vehicle, grabbed him, and pushed him to the ground. During the altercation, agents fired tear gas and pepper balls into the crowd. They continued to hold the man down before they retreat, and he walks away. The man in our footage is wearing a similar outfit to what Preddy was wearing on the day he was killed. What appears to be a gun is also visible above his waistband.
So there's the gun.
Here, he continues to stand at the scene. On the day he was killed, the Department of Homeland Security claims Preddy, a 37-year-old ICU nurse, approached officers holding a handgun. That claim has been contradicted by analysis of bystander videos from multiple news investigations, which concluded that Preddy was holding a phone, not a gun, when he was pinned to the street. Shortly after the altercation we filmed here on January 13th, federal agents drove away. Soon after that, we left the scene.
Okay, so listen, I have no problem with him breaking a taillight if that's illegal. You don't get out and start beating him up. Like, if is that a fine? Like, I mean, it's not a death sentence, right? But okay, a fine. But like, why do you get out and just start pummeling a guy? Like, that's not even protocol.
And that's why they didn't arrest him. They know that 20 people got him on tape, and you can't just beat up a person. I mean, legally
and spray tear gas into the crowd,
right? So you can't arrest him, and it shows how unpopular everything is, to where you have to hold a whole crowd back with bear gas and bear spray and tear gas and bullshit. But then you don't even charge the guy. You don't take him into custody. You let him go, which good. I mean, I'm all for that, but clearly, and people were saying, maybe they didn't know who he was, when they killed him. It's probably not the same people. Well, it probably isn't the same people necessarily, but their system is targeting. So they knew, believe me, they knew when he was the guy in the street. Their systems are flagging. They knew that was the guy. And
so that was 100%. That's what all the data analytics and the surveillance is for.
That's what it's for.
100%. Because so my point was, in the second video, or the second time, the day he was killed, his phone, I don't know that his gun was actually so visible. He certainly hadn't pulled it out in either circumstance. It's visible in that first altercation because they pull his jacket off, you can see it. But yes, they absolutely knew who he was. And
to be honest, they probably knew the minute he left his house that he was going to this event, with the surveillance they have on us now.
100%. Yes, that's how this is all working. There are cameras everywhere now.
Right. So
they're tracking their phones.
If hypothetically you're an ICE, or you're part of Trump's administration or whatever, and you want to harm this guy, you know where he's going. You you check the system, you track him, and you say, I'm a fucking 2% or 1%. I'm a Proud Boy. I'm gonna get this dude. Get me on that shift in this street, because Preddy's there.
So here is this is JT Sitkowski, who's a status coup reporter. He was actually Tina Desiree Berg back in Minneapolis. She was shoved to the ground 2 days ago and tear gassed. I know, for doing nothing, just standing there taking video. But so he says, I've interviewed at least 2 ICE watchers in Minneapolis who told me federal agents were watching them outside their homes this morning. Then Taniel, and we show his work a lot. He does a lot of election polling results, crunches all the different numbers and does data analysis. Now in Maine, the Press Herald reports that ICE watchers are saying federal agents are coming to their house to threaten and intimidate them. And this woman, we haven't really given much time to her story. She's a teacher, I think. Mara Martinez. They shot her 5 times. She survived. But days before ICE ambushed her and shot her 5 times, DHS circulated a memo to agents with her name and face saying to be on the lookout for her for doxing agents. So this
is gang shit.
Yeah.
This is like, hey, get this person. Here's a list. Who's on the list? Unqualified immunity. Get them. That's what we're up against right here.
And by the way, this is all, this is all IDF tactics. This is all Palantir. This is all, they battle tested it on Palestinians. And that's how they sell it when they go to these weapons conventions. Battle tested.
And, just another small thing, but like the dehumanization of brown Palestinians is shifted over to brown immigrants. It's like, it's the same project it's not even about the people or immigration is the point.
Yeah.
It's about creating a surveillance state, which is what the Democratic Party wants as well. And it's self-interested narcissist shit for Trump, which is, protecting his own fucking That's all he's got. The only people still supporting him are these racist motherfuckers. So he's got to throw him a bone. And that's part of it too. That and protecting himself from the midterms.
Yeah. I mean, that, I didn't mean to be like accusatory with Anthony, and it's a much longer conversation, obviously, but we can leave him out of it. I hear other vets saying, like, I didn't go over to Fallujah to fight terrorism there to come back here and be targeted by our, the Gestapo of the administration. And I think a lot of military people are probably starting to make a connection, seeing how blatantly the people in power lie about them and their friends when they're just peacefully protesting this incursion onto our constitutional rights. The connection that, hey, maybe the people we were told were terrorists over there actually aren't terrorists and something else is going on. Like, that's the connection, is the Palestinians aren't terrorists, but that's what they have been called by our administration, Israel, and 9 of the 195 countries in the world. Only 9 of them, maybe 10. Everybody else, 185 countries don't think that. But like, that is the connection, because that's what they're calling all of us terrorists now.
We're domestic terrorists, and just showing up to this event was apparently like, for the longest time, they can't explain why. Take away that he had the gun, which, they've pushed forever, as you're right, as an American citizen.
Yep.
They've defended these guys with AR rifles, fucking open carrying at these events.
Look at,
so like,
you can't look at that. Yeah.
You can't literally say that this guy should be defended and lauded and come to the CPAC events. And I don't know if you use that CPAC, but all the Republican conventions always get Rittenhouse there.
Yeah. They herald him.
Where was he? Where was he? He was at a fucking protest. So like, stop it.
And actually killed somebody, brandishing
concealed gun that he never took. It was never in his hand. But so, if just going there to film makes you a domestic terrorist, that's the pre-crime thing. That's where, the interests that are paying our politicians at the very top are the AI companies and these tech bros who are all making money off the surveillance to label who is that bad guy potentially with the pre-crime.
Yep.
So this whole system is in place to just fuck us more with this stuff. And if the Democrats weren't taking that same money, they would be harder on this shit, but they're not. They're taking the same goddamn money.
They're taking the same money. They are funding the private prisons that are making billions of dollars off of this. They fund Palantir and what's the Anthropic or whatever, and Lucker Palm, like all of these AI data surveillance tech billionaires. That's the whole plan. It's a plan of total control over all of us, because that idea of like, oh, if you don't have anything to hide, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. They'll turn you into a terrorist by just connecting a few dots through their algorithm. And then all of a sudden you're somebody who is infringing upon, sorry, you're right, Zainab. It's Andrew. Lucker Palmy. Lucker Palmy, Lucky Palmer, Lucky.
They're all the
whatever.
same.
Yeah, just all the
Lucker Palmy's the guy with the terrible beard that the chinner. Chin thing that I had in the 80s, which I will never show you.
Flavor Saver.
I had a Flavor Saver. Go.
All right. Should we?
Yes, we should.
Okay. Are we spinning? Is that what you're saying? All right.
Why not? Yeah, we need a break. We need a break.
So much to get to. Okay.
All right.
Good thing we have a show tomorrow too.
We do have a show tomorrow.
Yeah, baby.
Yes. All right. Good job.
The wheel has spoken.
The wheel, yes, it has spoken. And then let me just spin again. Let's see what we get.
Yeah,
Don't
baby.
Get what you get. Do not get upset. Oh, that's good. We have some good ones.
What do you think? I'm going to go with the Flowbots. I like the Flow. What do you?
No, go ahead. You choose. Your choice.
I like the Flowbots. They're sort of a white reggae-ish, band, but
they're appropriating.
It's ice related, so let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't have any volume, Pat. What's happening here?
So, you might say it stands for invading communities everywhere, or inciting chaos endlessly, or instigating cruelty, even interrupting children's educations. You might say it stands for international classmates expelled, intellectual capital excluded, ignoring constant exploitation. But I say it's simple. It's called evil. Now what do you stand for? Explain it. Claim immigration is criminal. Entertain it. Conceptually. Accept it. Contextually. Especially ignorant. Come enter into communities. Engage in conversation. Encounter. Innovation. Creation. Elevation. Intact cultural engines. I can't even imagine corralling enemies in cages. Everybody exclaim. Oh, one more thing. If Christian evangelicals in churches endorse isolating individuals in CCAT concentration camps in El Salvador, imagino cuando expiras, enteras inmediatamente como caliente es el infierno, cabrones. Eso.
That's awesome. I love them. That's great. They're great.
They're a cool band. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that a lot. All right.
In the song, by the way, obviously I spliced the shit out of it because I only pulled a few clips, but it's a long song about ICE that goes on.
Yeah, it's cool.
All using the ICE. Every rap is an ICE thing.
That was clever. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah, this is the protectors of the United States who don't believe in the Constitution.
I will tell you this, brother.
What?
You know, I will tell you this. You raise your voice, I raise your voice.
If I raise my voice, you'll erase my...
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Are you serious? You said if I raise my voice, you'll erase my voice?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Dude.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you use your First Amendment, I will remove it. Like, that's just as... How clear can you get it? Like, if you're running an ICE... If ICE is your project and it's not racist and an absolute piece of shit and it's not an evil project, you come out the next day and say, we got that officer, he's fired, here's what happened to him, we don't support that. Nothing ever happens to any of these fucking evil fucks.
I mean, it's all about control, just the way the anti-Semitism is about control. Obviously, you know, most of the people that these Republicans are hanging out with who are doing this, by the way, it's a bipartisan project. I get it. But like, it's not because they care so much about the Jewish people. It is a method of control. And so when they say, oh, if you speak out against Israel, you're speaking out against U.S. concerns and America first, right? Like, so they're going to manipulate everything. If you raise your voice, you are infringing on our investigation of getting the biggest, baddest, you know, criminals. Like, they will twist everything. I mean, sort of like what Anthony was saying about, you know, if you disobey an order that's an illegal order, they won't get you on that. They'll get you on a different part of the order and say, well, you disobeyed orders, right? So like, there's just no consequences. There seems to be no mechanisms that can move quickly enough legally to rein them in.
And the only, with the system we have now with ICE and Trump running it and their false claims to the people in ICE that they have the protected immunity, you know, the only thing you can do to counter the racist fuck who thinks he can get away with something is make an example of somebody that fucking did something bad and is in fucking prison for the rest of their life. You know, so you can't be Tim Walz and say, oh, we passed a law and they broke the law and you know, they didn't let us get to the crime scene, but we're gonna go after that guy. But also this next guy that took a sack of $50,000 in cash coming in, I
give
think
him the benefit of the
he's
doubt.
got a good heart. He's got a good heart. That guy is going to do it. You need to make an example of anyone you can possibly make an example of.
They don't care. It's all messaging They want to be the good guys, and they will still fund these Gestapo agents to the exact same level. Watch. And they'll say, we got everything we wanted. We're going to reform it. We're going to reform them. There's going to be more training and body cameras. And then, this was, we were just talking about this, but Klippenstein saying that the federal deployment to Minneapolis is steady state and expected to continue as planned, per the Border Patrol memo leaked to me. So all of this is just to give them cover. That's it.
Yeah, and I really do think, regardless of if things calm down in Minnesota, the plan is to do this elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, maybe you went too far there, slap on the wrist, but then in 2 months or a month, they do the same thing somewhere else, and they control the narrative a little better.
Yeah.
So it looks like it was more a protester being a real problem, not some guy, not some woman just driving her car down the street, not some guy just helping up an old lady. It's unfortunate that happened for them because it looks bad. So they're going to back off now and repeat this project somewhere else.
I mean, look at
it, but it may be in Minnesota still. It may be.
Well, look at Los Angeles. Like, I mean, I just saw Mo, and I'm sorry, Mo, because I didn't get you up here fast enough. Because, but like, we know that ICE is still all over Los Angeles. They just aren't doing like the bells and whistles that they did when they initially came. They're still terrorizing whole communities. And I mean, on some level, it's worse because everybody just goes back to sleep and it's like, see that? We're good. And then they can say, Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom really showed Donald Trump what people are being shot on New Year's. And,
Zeta makes a good point. I didn't really think about the Cop City factor with Atlanta, but like, the timing of this stuff has been on my mind though, about the midterms. Like that's been on my mind. So you really wouldn't want to enact the Insurrection Act now. That's too long before the midterms to get people. You want to do it. You want to throw it out there like it's a campaign move, which is like, the timing is like, I don't know, 30 days before an election is when you want to drop the worst hit piece you have on your opponent.
Right.
That's kind of when you want to do it. So there's not enough time to build up an opposition to it and make an argument that hits all the public. So this could just continue like this with like, nobody dies for a month, and then they kill 4 people, and they put some more regulations in place, and then by
that point they've already gotten their budget.
They got their budget, and they get ready for it, and then May or June before the midterms is when the big fucking thing hits that they have planned to somehow suppress votes in certain states.
I think that's very likely. I think that is very likely.
Yeah.
And again, just as a reminder, I know we talk about this all the time, but before the end of his first term in office, the Obama administration expanded a small program by about 3,600%. 3,600. This is from 2011. This was from a 2011 report by No More Deaths on Abuse in Border Patrol Custody titled Culture of Cruelty. By this point, the overwhelming weight of the corroborated evidence should eliminate any doubt that Border Patrol abuse is widespread. Still, the Border Patrol's consistent response has been flat denial, and calls for reform have been ignored. We have entitled our report A Culture of Cruelty because we believe our findings demonstrate that the abuse, neglect, and dehumanization of migrants is part of the institutional culture of the Border Patrol. And that was during Obama's first term. Just as a reminder.
No, we set all this up. The Democrats' boner for a surveillance state and all the people who are going to make money off the surveillance state, like they know 2 things. They know that capitalism is fucking destroying the economy for the middle class and working class. So they know that we're gonna be madder. So they want a way to harness us in that respect. And then they also know who's feeding me money. Well, it's the tech bros are making money off this stuff. They're the ones throwing money at my campaign, and they want all this stuff. So, and also Israel wants all this stuff, and Israel also has gotten a stranglehold on our government. So there's consequences to being against Israel. There's consequences against being against tech bros. Yeah, I'm for whatever you're doing, guys. Just don't make it so ugly in public, is the Democratic position.
I mean, it really is. It really is. You've got Chris Murphy out there acting like a tough guy, also saying it's just about reform. They all know. And as Alec Karakatsanis always says, it's like arguing that climate change doesn't exist. Like arguing against science, provable facts. They know. They've seen all the reports. They know that none of the things that they're suggesting in their reform projects have ever helped. And actually, the more money that they have thrown towards these different departments, they have only killed more people. They've only become more violent. So none of that is working. It's not reformable.
And the thing Democrats are ignoring as well is the core issue behind why we have all this immigration enforcement crap, which is immigrants are not the fucking problem. This country is going to be begging for anyone to be here soon. We're going to have the Olympics. Germany just put a travel warning out against coming to the US. Germany, the whitest country on earth, says be careful going to the US because, you know, you could get swept up in this ICE stuff. Germany. So, you know, with the Olympics in LA siding with Israel, there's a boycott on the Olympics. People aren't traveling to the US anyway anymore. They're like, I don't want to go there. Do you imagine a brown person saying, you know, someone from Spain, like, hey, I'm going to go spend my fucking 10 grand vacation in the US so I can fucking get sent to a detention camp in El Salvador or something. Like,
yeah.
So, and the farmers are begging for immigrants back.
I mean, business,
like, their businesses are
truly,
it's a mess. So anyway,
well, even
the
people
point is,
who, like,
immigrants are not the problem at all. Never were, never will be.
Yeah, absolutely agree. 100%, obviously 100%. But even the people who begged for, you know, who like lied about the crime rate so that they could, you know, get more police presence, get more funding in their, you know, commerce, and supported all of these surveillance state techniques. You know, in Minnesota now, the CEOs are coming together to say, we need to tamper this down because it is affecting their bottom lines. Nobody's going anywhere. I mean, yeah.
I mean, you got even the smart people in power, in soft power, which like the economic people they listen to,
right?
They're saying, you know, we have to slow down AI. Like they don't even have power in the system because like, it's just who's paying the people at the top and now who is giving the money, and their interests matter more than like our country's interest completely now. Like peak capitalism is now. It's like, it's just a fucking shit show of bribing people.
It really is.
However you want to couch it.
They are, and it's just such a interesting, like it's such short-term thinking because not every business is set up only to cater to the wealthiest people. So they are going to lose money. I mean, people don't have any disposable income right now, and they're furious and they're scared. And but this is the thing that all the CEOs fought for. This is what they wanted.
Right. The problem as far as how we get out of this is that the same people that don't care if they lose $20 trillion with CBS being a shit show that's just pushing Zionist propaganda, also own our media. I mean, they own that media, they own the television. So they don't care if they lose the money on the media channel.
Yeah.
Because they're going to make more money from government contracts and their movies and whatnot. Sorry, my cat is attacking the paper bag and it's kind of annoying over here.
Yeah. The other thing is, you know, Trump has said a few different times that he doesn't care if there's de-dollarization and the dollar plummets because, you know, that's the other part of this where we're talking about like the World Economic Forum and the richest, you know, ghouls in the world is they would love to just have everything be digital. have everything just be crypto and digital,
Right.
and then they can just walk away. They don't even have to pretend anymore about anything.
Totally. And my second point with that was that, okay, they got CVS and whatnot. So the thing we had was social media, but they don't care about losing money on social media because that's our last outlet. Like they're going to make, like Elon Musk could lose $1 trillion a year on social media and make that up in government contracts because he's pushing their propaganda. And, you know, it's kind of like the same thing with Democrats. Like, okay, a Democrat could lose their office, but they're going to get rich for supporting the right position when they get out of office because, you know, there's money there.
Yeah.
So the point is we're cooked. So this moment under Trump is our moment to fight back as hard as possible. Like now, because when the Democrats take power, they're just going to soften all the messaging, say it's not so bad anymore, people, as the tech bros take over more and more and people sleep more and more.
Yep.
So it's now. It's got to be now. Whatever the fuck happens, it's now. So support the Friday
General strike. Absolutely. Do you know Alex Karp used to call himself a Marxist? And I mean, all of them except for Peter Thiel, they were all Democrats. They were all Democratic supporters. They gave so much. I mean, even Donald Trump gave money to Hillary Clinton.
They just were until Trump took power. And then they're like, you know what? That guy I called a Nazi for fucking ever. He's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You got shit back from Facebook. What's his name? Jesus Christ, I can't even forget.
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg's like, you know, that was badass. Say what you want, but like Trump surviving that thing, that was badass. Like
badass, yeah. And look at him.
You know.
Like you see all these agents are wearing his meta glasses. They're recording everything and it's funneling through to see if they can match you. I mean, it's like T2. That's where we are. It's like the Terminator. They are making so much money by denying us our constitutional rights. It's really unbelievable. And it's scary because as they are doing these things, you know, there was this Ilhan Omar who has been the target of so much vitriol and hatred and racism from both parties. Remember the outcry when she said it's all about the Benjamins? Like that was some big anti-Semitic. They had to, didn't they even vote to censure her?
They censored her. Democrats censored her.
Yeah. And Biden did his whole, the administration, like looked into all of her finances. His Department of Justice did a whole, was investigating her. Under Biden administration, Justice Department began examining Ilhan Omar's finances. The inquiry initiated by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington appears to have stalled for lack of evidence. Well, why were they doing it in the first place? Are they doing that to Randy Fine? No. Or fucking Tom Homan, who was caught on camera taking a bag with $50,000 of bribe money? No, they do it to her. So it's no surprise then when Trump, who's a like outwardly vile racist, even more than, I mean, I don't know, even more than Biden? Not really. Did he eulogize Strom Thurmond? Anyway, she was attacked yesterday at her town hall, and she is just one of the fiercest women out there, and it is truly impressive. Escaped civil war in Somalia when she was 8 and is now here truly speaking truth to power.
That people like this ugly man don't understand.
Sorry.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my God, he's sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
No. You need to go get checked. No.
We will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
You need to go get checked. No, you don't know what. No. That's whatever it is smells so bad. She needs to go get checked. I don't know what that was.
That's what they want.
No, it's not about him, Ilhan.
Okay, so
reality that people like this ugly man don't understand. We are Minnesota strong. And we will stand. In the face of whatever they might do.
We love you, Ilhan.
Everybody settle down. I'm going to finish my remarks.
I messed up because the one, I mean, that was fine, but there's one where she talks about don't let him have the show. And I just love how she said that. Like, here she is. Who knows what that was? Everybody said that it smelled horrible. I have no idea what that is. She's like squares up against him, like coming after him. And they want to take her and like see what's going on. She gets a napkin. She's like, no, we're Minnesota strong. He doesn't get the show. I'm finishing my town hall. You're muted.
Amen. And if some random person squirted some chemicals on me and I was a politician, I'd think chemical shit, get me to a fucking treat me right away. I don't know what it is, but I appreciate her. I don't know if we pull the inter.
Which one?
I love how she was. Well, she's talking about how she got in like 50 fights when she was a kid.
Oh, I don't have that. I didn't have that today. Sorry.
No, it wasn't 50 fights, but like somebody was interviewing her about how she was a badass when she was a kid. And she got in a lot of fights with bullies, is what she was just open, like, she's like, I would punch a bitch, more or less. She didn't say
that's awesome.
But like, she's like, I stood up for people and bullies, and those are my people right there who do that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she is really phenomenal. I'm so impressed by her. All right. I don't even think that we need to do any more Trump stuff, right? Is there anything there you want to do, or should we move on? What do you think?
Trump stuff. Let me look. I'm scrolling.
I mean, we have him just being a racist jerk. Then, I mean, this is actually, it's amazing to me that he can still make my jaw drop when I'm listening to him. So I guess, all right, let's just listen to this. I mean, it is crazy.
It's pretty unusual, but nobody knows when they saw the gun, how they saw the gun, everything else. Bottom line, it was terrible. Both of them were terrible. The other was terrible too. And I'm not sure about his parents, but I know her parents were big Trump fans. Makes me feel bad anyway. But I mean, I guess you could say even worse. They were tremendous Trump people, Trump fans. And, the daughter was, she was, I don't know if you could say radicalized, maybe not. I don't know. But I hate to see it. I hate to see that.
You bring up the term.
We need people to come in legally, but they have to show that they can love our country, not hate our country. They have to show that they're not going to blow up our shopping centers, blow up our farms, kill people. They're coming in legally, but they cannot come in unless they come in legally into our country, and we're letting some great people come in. They have to show that they can love our country. They have to be proud. Not like Ilhan Omar. Did you see that wise guy? She's always talking about the Constitution provides me with the following. The Constitution, she comes from a country that's a disaster. It's considered, I think, it's not even a country, okay? It barely has a government. I don't think it does. They're good at one thing, pirates. But they don't do that anymore. You know why? Because they get the same treatment from us as the drug dealers get. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. So the obvious hypocrisy here is that the Republicans have been screaming about Charlie Kirk, and the Democratic rhetoric got us here. And, the actions against ICE, demonizing them, has got us here.
Right.
And then, Trump's response to this with Ilhan Omar actually getting sprayed with a chemical.
Yeah.
Which turned out to be, I think, apple cider vinegar, we said.
Yeah, I don't, maybe. Yeah.
But his response was, well, she probably had somebody spray her.
Oh, yeah. They're saying it was staged because she's
it was a
tough.
Staged event. Like, that's your response after all this. Charlie Kirk is going to be in our fucking textbooks in America now. We're going to learn. We have a Charlie Kirk Day.
like, I know we're beyond, and like, honestly, at some point, I don't care if somebody's dignified or not, right? Like, Joe Biden could go up there and pretend to have empathy while he's doing a genocide, right? Or giving more money to cops and prisons and, going around 26 EPA laws to help build Trump's wall. So like, who cares about the like being dignified on some level? And yet this is so appalling. It's just appalling.
And there's probably such a clear connection between his words and this guy's actions.
Absolutely.
Like this guy, the nexus of this is like, hey, I watched Trump's speech literally yesterday where he attacked Ilhan Omar as a terrorist.
Yeah.
Somalia, she needs to prove that she's, if you're from Somalia, you need to prove you're for this country and whatnot. So it's not like some vague connection to make. It's he says this, his people do this.
Yeah.
So pardon me if I'm going to laugh at Charlie Kirk being dead. Pardon me if I'm going to laugh at every fucking video of an ICE agent slipping and falling. Pardon me if when the first ICE agent gets murked, I fucking drop balloons from my ceiling.
I mean, there's such, what's the thing that Adam Johnson always says? Cry bullies, like calling them not, you call me a Nazi. All right, then you know what? We're going to act like Nazis. Yeah, good. You want to call me a racist? Good. Then I will be racist. Yeah. Okay. I am done with this guy. Not sure why you're here.
Wait, is there somebody in
the
comments or something? Who is it? Who is it? Where
Grave Walkers. He's gone. Bye.
Grave Walker. Oh, he's gone. I didn't even see it.
Like enough. Like it's, a couple of them are fine, but now it's just spamming it. Okay. This was so yesterday or 2 days ago was International Holocaust Remembrance Day, which, obviously that's incredibly important. It's a crazy time right now when we are watching a Holocaust being perpetrated by the people who were the victims of the Holocaust of the 30s and 40s, who also on International Holocaust Day were committing pogroms against different villages in the West Bank. They just did an analysis or an analysis of data that 2,700 families have been erased completely. Palestinians, 27, and that's just that they know about. And there was a big, and
we're talking about the deepest families, a lot of people in every family, like
every member from multiple generations are gone. And then there's several thousand who are the single remaining person of their whole family lineage.
And it's probably a 7-year-old with 3 limbs, and that's the reality here. And this is what we are backing.
And scabies
as a
and
country.
Freezing in a wet tent. It's
a hungry,
horrifying
Palestinian kid with 3 limbs living in a wet tent. Yeah, that's what we got here. And we're still not letting press in.
Pivot to peace, which again, I feel like this whole pivot with Trump, how Democrats are running cover for him, Tim Walz running cover for him, like now it's going to be okay. We've got we're changing strategy. It's a pivot to a kinder, gentler ICE agency or whatever. It's the same thing happened. As soon as Trump was like, okay, it's a ceasefire and here's the board of peace, people keep talking about a ceasefire. There's no ceasefire.
It feels like the exact same thing to me. It's the same playbook. It's the IDF playbook, which is literally training ICE. So it's the same playbook of us just like, well, now it's fine. They're all terrorists. They're all Hamas. They're all, domestic terrorists here. Here's the chemical weapons we're using over in Palestine. Use them.
I mean, honestly, it's it is so horrific. And not the icing on the cake, but like of course the Holocaust was awful. Like you don't even have to say that. We know it was awful. I think of civilians, they say like 17 million people were killed, 6 million of whom were Jewish. Then there were others. There were Soviets. There were, gay community. There were Roma. Like there were other people also who were killed, but they were killed and they aren't mentioned anymore. Now that there has been a huge shift to make the Holocaust and World War II solely about Jews, who now you can't even say that they are committing their own version of a genocide right now, according to the new definitions that they want to put in all of our kids' textbooks and legalize.
Well, I mean, we had this big fight for TikTok, like, hey, make it exist still because, this false idea that China's going to run the news and all that stuff was bullshit. So they sold it to an American company. So it was an excuse to sell it to a Zionist. And the first thing they do is say, you can use Zionism as a positive here all you want, but if you ever use it as negative, you're gone.
Yep.
You're suspended or, it's a punishable offense
or flagged or just totally gone.
So this is the plan. They Larry Ellison, right? Bought TikTok. He bought CBS as well. So he bought social media and media, like the two core premises.
Like
and he doesn't care if either of them make money. Profit is removed from those projects. The project
the richest man in the world
things is to make him more money in these other areas.
Yeah.
He bought the advertising arm of his empire, basically. Yep. And so he makes money off of Israel. So we're not going to be able to criticize Israel anymore. So I'm not pushing Upscrolled. Like, I don't know fuck about them, but it's owned by a Palestinian apparently.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't feel very TikTok-like to me, to be honest, right now.
Yeah, it doesn't. But maybe it feels more like Twitter, but it's just, it's not up and running quite so fast yet. But
But at the same time, I don't want to replace Twitter because what's going to happen is the media will never go to Upscrolled.
Yeah.
Like they're going to call Upscrolled Hamas and say, you lunatics be over there all you want, just like Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Right. But the difference is Upscrolled immediately is as good as Blue Sky in like overnight.
Yeah.
So Blue Sky to me held back their growth intentionally. I can find no other reason to other than you wanted to be a Zionist project or something where you were never going to allow people to criticize capital over there.
Yeah.
Because they could have made 1 million improvements going back 5 years.
Yeah, I know. It
could have had 1 million people.
Yeah.
A billion people would have joined their fucking site if they had made small improvements.
Yeah.
So this place overnight is as good, more or less, as Twitter now with a few tweaks.
Blue Sky.
But
I'm sorry.
Yes. Upscrolled. So I don't know. I'm trying to get people to Upscrolled. I'm not getting $1 from them or anything stupid. We all know TikTok, owned by Larry Ellison, is going to fucking implode, and I want to see that happen now.
Yeah, I hope so. But it is just so sad because that is how we all know what was happening. And the clear project was to kill all the journalists so that nobody would know the truth. I mean, that's it. Bizan, who every day shake, hi, it's Bizan from Gaza and I'm still alive. I think they deplatformed her entirely from TikTok. Gross.
That's what they're doing. So, I mean, I think we got two projects, two angles. I see it. I think people should pick 2 lanes, right? On social media. You should pick one lane, which is where you confront media the best you can, which is, to me, Twitter. You can challenge them directly, the largest there.
Yes.
On social media. But then there's an organizing lane where we all agree, sort of, and that might be this platform. I mean, people on Blue Sky thought it was that, like, oh, it's a big hug with leftists or something. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Like live left. Yeah.
But I think you should pick 2. And your second could be, I don't want to go on Twitter, but I want to be on Facebook confronting my lib friends or something, or like, but find your safe place and another place. And we can't all get extended forever. I can't be on 28 apps.
I mean, that's what I'm
saying.
The problem. Like the whole point of Twitter was it was the town square. It's where everybody was. And they have now successfully kind of balkanized everybody, right? Like, because people left because they didn't want to deal with the Nazis, which I get, but like, we only have so many hours in the day and there's only so much you can do. And it's not checking 6 different social media accounts. It's too like, that's also not, you know, alike.
But I don't think we want to see the only place where we push back directly in their face a little bit. On social media, which is Twitter. So as much as Upscrolled feels more like Twitter than TikTok, don't leave Twitter for Upscrolled is my suggestion.
I agree. I agree. Because then everybody's just in different places and we do need some sort of critical mass of the left to combat. Okay.
But leave TikTok for Twitter for Upscrolled.
Delete. And you can even say why you're deleting it. I mean, but as you say, they don't care, but yes, delete. And you know, Bari Weiss, I mean, CBS is losing advertising. There's a big revolt within CBS because there are actual journalists who were working there and they are not happy about this at all. But as you said, it doesn't matter. He is tied. He's always swapping with Elon Musk, Larry Ellison or Elon Musk, who is the richest man in the world. Oh, and by the way, the single largest personal donation to the IDF comes from Larry Ellison. Gross.
And he doesn't care. Look, CBS will reform itself and try to recover from Bari Weiss, but it'll be sort of the same thing, just a little more couched in like, you know, we're not so overtly Zionist.
Right.
But the long-term project is if they don't, it's not about making money. It's just he's got that arm of his wealth to push some propaganda that 10% of his viewers would believe, but that's more than if they didn't see it. So that makes him more money. Like that's literally how bad our fucking system is now.
Yes. 100%. Okay. But now circling back, putting a pin, isn't that what Saki always used to say? Circling back, putting a pin in it. This, you know, I am not a Tim Walz fan anymore at all. I mean, I was a semi fan for a bit, a couple of years ago. He makes this comment about ICE. It's only 8 seconds. I will show it to you quickly.
Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota.
And the Holocaust Museum and the Holocaust Education Foundation and the U.S. Ambassador on Anti-Semitism from the State Department all lost their minds. This is the U.S. Holocaust Museum. Anne Frank was targeted and murdered solely because she was Jewish. Leaders making false equivalencies to her experience for political purposes is never acceptable. Despite tensions in Minneapolis, exploiting the Holocaust is deeply offensive, especially as anti-Semitism surges. I find that abhorrent. Never again. We're taking lessons. Everything isn't going to be exactly the same, but we are seeing the patterns that gave rise to it. It doesn't start off with the death camps.
Yeah.
Day one death camps.
It's also disgusting. I mean, honestly, like if you want people to believe in the strength of the evilness of anti-Semitism, you can't keep being a part of the genocide and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's not obvious anymore, but like these guys are giving people reason to falsely, but just blame Jewish people. And you're strengthening the anti-Semitism with all this nonsense about fake anti-Semitism. Like,
yeah,
you're working against yourself.
The reason anti-Semitism is surging right now, if it is because you're committing a genocide. Like that's, if you're either committing or supporting it, people are going to hate you. And it's a state that calls itself the Jewish state. We're doing this for all Jews. If you're not a Zionist, you're not a real Jew. So they keep conflating the two for the world.
Exactly. And the hatred does belong that we have towards Zionist. That's a justified hatred. You are the evil fucks in the world right now. You Zionist fucks. Right. So if you want to conflate Zionism and anti-Semitism, you're going to turn us who believe in the real things into, not believing your message about anti-Semitism anymore. I don't know.
It's hard to take it serious. I mean, I don't want to.
We're not going to change our views. We're not
going to become an anti-Semite, but you might be more skeptical when somebody cries anti-Semitism because we see the things that they term anti-Semitism.
Just noticing people didn't pop out of nowhere. They're just noticing all these connections that blame Jewish people for everything in the world. When anything they want to put up the blame on with purchase of our government or whatever, it's a Zionist project. It's not Jewish people. It's, it's not.
It's a colonial. I mean, it's colonial. It's not just Zionism. Zionism is one faction of the colonialist project, but yes. But also just to go through this because it's insane, the pushback. Holocaust was the murder of 6 million Jewish men, women, and children, ignoring that the victims were Jews, widening the figure to include all victims of the Second World War. By the way, it wasn't just victims of the Second World War. It was specifically in death camps that they were talking about and being persecuted, or attempting to draw in contemporary conflicts is an abuse of the memory of the Holocaust and an insult to victims and survivors. Any attempt to dilute the Holocaust, strip it of its Jewish specificity, or compare it to contemporary events is unacceptable on any day. On Holocaust Memorial Day, it is especially hurtful, disrespectful, and wrong. That is from Holocaust Educational Trust. And I just want to do this last one before we get to the rebuttal. This is the ambassador on anti-Semitism. Ignorance like this cheapens the horror of the Holocaust. Anne Frank was in Amsterdam legally and abided by Dutch law. She was hauled off to a death camp because of her race and religion. Her story has nothing to do with the illegal immigration, fraud, and lawlessness plaguing Minnesota today. Our brave law enforcement should be commended, not tarred with this historically illiterate and anti-Semitic comparison. And just as a reminder, Anne Frank's family lost their citizenship. The 11th decree to the law of the citizenship of the Reich stated that all German Jews living outside of Germany were no longer citizens of Germany. Although the Frank family had moved to Amsterdam in 1933, the Franks had never become Dutch citizens. After this law, they officially became stateless and were not legally citizens of any country, which means that when they did not self-deport, they were acting
lawbreakers.
They were
lawbreakers.
Yes.
Right. So justified according to the Holocaust Museum, or that wasn't the Holocaust Museum. That was an advocate. But that's the problem here. You can't look. Laws are not the be all end all of morality.
No, they're arbitrary.
And an unjust government needs to be fought.
That's right.
That's the lesson of the Holocaust right there.
I mean, truly, it's astonishing. It is astonishing because, you have to fight it. Like, if you just tell people, you have to follow the law. You follow the law.
Had you followed the law,
slavery was legal.
If you followed the law, you would have just ended up in the gas camp. But you should have just followed the law, or what? Because you were shot because you wouldn't get on the train.
Yeah, stay in your lane.
If you would have just gotten on the train, you wouldn't have been shot. That's where we're at right now. If you would just get on the train, you won't be shot.
The fact that is the lesson that they want to impart from the Holocaust. And also, it is really dangerous to always talk about Jews as the chosen people and the people who have been targeted more than any other group in the history of the world. And the genocide of Jews was worse than the genocide of people in the Congo. I mean, do they talk about King Leopold? Is that 10 million people? There should be historical context. Yes, it was horrific, but other people have endured horrors too. This isn't the Olympics. We don't need to compete with this. What we're doing is calling out the systems that are so depraved that they will cage, terrorize, and obliterate whole swaths of people.
Yeah, and let me just for myself, if you bring religion into any of your argument, I am done with you. I don't believe your religion. I respect the right to have your religion, but you better respect my right to not be a part of your religion. And this conflation with Christianity and Judaism and these things are like, you got to be an ally to Judaism because Christianity is so important to us because we're a Christian nation. No, fuck you too.
Yeah. We're not supposed to be a religious nation at all. Okay. So this is so crazy to me. This lawyer says, on Saturday, he's in Israel. I represented an American Jewish activist in deportation proceedings from the country due to his leftism. In the hearing, they presented him with a photo from a demonstration in the US to link him to anti-Israel organizations. The photo they were referring to, the photo was taken at a demonstration against the Nazis in Charlottesville. And our brave forces apparently took it from a page that promotes white supremacy. Indeed, grounds for deportation from the Jewish state, which lays it all bare. It has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. It has to do with left politics that believe that every person has a right to self-determination.
I mean, it's power for the Zionists and money for Israel, which is also so tied in with promoting capitalism and stopping us from protesting anything we're mad about.
Yeah. I mean, and then I didn't know this. The ADL infiltrated the protesters at Charlottesville. This is from the Forward. This is from 2017. The Anti-Defamation League is advising cops to plant undercover agents among Antifa activists and to film protests where the group may clash with neo-Nazis and white supremacists. The recommendation comes at the end of an ADL primer for law enforcement on Antifa, the radical anti-fascist protest movement that has gained attention in the week since the white supremacist riot in Charlottesville. Police should capture as much as possible of the event on video for use in any future arrests or prosecutions, the ADL recommends in the document posted on its website Wednesday. Some departments also place undercover officers in the crowds to spot suspects and or to be in a position to assist if a fight breaks out. The people they were tracking were the Antifa protesters, not the Nazis. I mean...
Yeah, and that's Biden era. Am I wrong? That's Biden, wasn't it?
No, because that was Trump. Yeah,
you're right.
That was Trump. Yeah, because that was one of the reasons Biden said that he had to run was because of what he saw.
Right. It was right at the end of Trump's term. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. But it's wild. But what's changed even from that period is the ADL planted people to find out who might be there but now they just like, hey, here are these 70 people we have. If you see one of them, go up and offer some water and then say some shit about how fucking you hate ICE and your buddies. So they know who to target and they know when you're leaving your apartment or your house. So they have a whole plan on how to get your support, how to trick you into thinking they're an ally. Like there could be a whole plot every time. Like, come out, this guy, help him with his car. I wasn't even going to the protest, but man, I'm on your back. I support you. This is their way. They're going to do all this shit to everyone who hits a certain point threshold on the list.
Yep. Yeah. And what they know, because even when they were targeting Cori Bush and other people who were sort of, on the left, they weren't even at that point talking about Israel necessarily. But what they know is that if your ideology is on the left, truly on the left, then your values eventually are going to turn you against an apartheid state, obviously. And that's what they want to root out. But it has nothing to do with anti-Semitism because Elon Musk could Sig Heil the crowd.
Literal Nazi Sig Heil is not raising the antennas of the ADL.
This is fantastic. The Lobby, yes, 2 Fs, and thank you. Cheers to you for your super chat. Watch it if you can. It's so good.
I have never heard of it. I'll have to watch it.
It's
cheers
great.
you with my invisible green beer.
Cheers. Yeah, and they did. They defended it. They said it was a little bit of an awkward gesture.
Yeah, I remember their response. Like, it's nuanced and yeah, it was awkward, but we should give people the benefit of the doubt, but not if you're at a protest against genocide. And in Britain, England, if you say from the river to the sea, you're gonna go to jail. Don't say it again. You're gonna go to jail if you say it twice. You know.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and there is so much. It's hard not to believe sometimes when people get so angry about a slight misstep in left circles that it's not the feds at work. Just to constantly try to tear us all
Make us
apart.
fight each other. Yes, I think so too.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to say before we leave for the night? There's definitely plenty more to talk about, but what do you
Not
think?
really.
Feels like everything else might get us
We're gonna be
into
here
a hole.
tomorrow. Yeah, we're in new category territory. I think we should play some more revolutionary music. I want some more music before we go out, and then we'll come back
That's
for
good.
OGT. Right?
Sounds
Just
good.
feels right.
Yeah, it feels right. All right,
This
good.
is Bella Ciao, which Lila
I
Pope.
love this so much.
This was beautiful. So
every day them get up and look on the TV, them read the newspaper, them want to see the truth. But them can't see the truth. Because the truth will not be found there. That is why the man said this revolution will be telepathic.
Bella Ciao in English. One fine morning, I was awakened. My beauty by, beauty by, beauty by, by, by. One fine morning, I was awakened to find the invader at my door. A rebel soldier, please take me with you. My beauty by, beauty by, beauty by, by, by. A rebel soldier, please take me with you, because I feel that soon I'll die. And if I die as a rebel soldier, my beauty by, beauty by, beauty by, by, by. And if I die as a rebel soldier, you need to bury me, my dear, up on the mountain, among the flowers. My beauty by, beauty by, beauty by, by, by. Up on the mountain, among the flowers. Oh, let me rest among the grave. And all the people who will pass by. Beauty by, beauty by, beauty by, by, by. And all the people who will pass by will say that flower's so divine. This is the flower of the fallen fighter. Beauty by, beauty by, beauty by, by, by. This is the flower of the fallen fighter who fell so freedom stays alive. Thanks so much.
I'm so sorry. It was loud on our end. I don't know why it was, and I couldn't raise the volume. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm gonna have to show
It's,
it again. Show it again tomorrow. It's so good.
it is good. Unfortunately, on StreamYard, you can't change the volume of something you put up. It just
And you
it just
can't
does
tell
it does
until
its
you
own
play
thing.
it.
Yeah, we never know until we're live with it. But
I'm sorry. All right. Well,
revolutionary spirit, though. I love that song. You feel
love
the
that
soul of it,
song.
and hearing it in his words.
yeah.
was
And in English was so interesting. I don't think I've ever heard it in English.
Yeah.
But we'll see if we can separate the audio and pump it up for the next time. All right, you guys. Hey, huge thanks to retired Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Aguilar, running for the Green Party Congress in North Carolina, and he's a fantastic guest as always. Cheers to all of you. I will look for it. Here's the tweet. I see you. I'll look for it. Sorry.
And just so you know, we are going out on some music. Fingers crossed the volume is good, but this is Stand By Me at the Preddy Memorial and
in Minneapolis.
Yes, hopefully we can avoid work Friday to support this. Regardless, I love the music and the soul and it bringing us all together.
Revolutionary spirit.
See you tomorrow.
Keep
Thanks, Anthony.
Night.
United,